Ladies and gentlemen, make it loud for Josh Johnson!
You look at what's happening in the world, sometimes you just try to fight for some sort of distraction. You can't just be inundated all the time with bad news, horrible stuff and everything. And you know, I read a lot of news, I watch a lot of news, and sometimes you need a break. I was trying to take a break. I was on my phone. Terrible idea. But as I was on my phone, I saw something. Blew my mind. I like to watch combat sports. I like watching boxing, MMA, and stuff like that because I look at all of them as chess matches. I look at all of them as these like physical chess matches with immediate consequences that are basically one skill set against another skill set and what's going to happen, right? And so I was scrolling on my phone and I saw this match between what looked like two heavyweights. And one guy, you know, they were at that point where they were clearly tired and clearly like leaning on each other and everything, but not hugging yet, just like gloves to gloves. And then one guy threw I think it was a hook, and hit the other guy pretty clean. And his hair came off. This is the point where the audience is split between people who saw the video and people who didn't see the video. All right. In case you didn't see the video, I can describe it for you. Yeah, it was these two big old dudes, big guys, heavyweights. And he got punched, and his hair also, you know, like the reverb, you know, like he got punched and then his hair reacted. And when I was watching this clip, I'm not gonna lie, I did a double take. I was like, what did I just see? You know, some people obviously have watched the video. I've watched it 6,000 times. This is crazy. Because when you watch that clip, when you watch the video, you're watching two fights. The first fight is between what looks like two heavyweights. The second fight is his hair trying to stay on his head. And believe me when I tell you it was a battle, because that first punch, he got hit, and then he took the punch, right? Absorbed it. Like, you know, you a big man used to taking big punches. That was nothing to him. He ate that one. But his hair, he got punched, but then his hair, you could see it in the video, his hair like, pow! And then he backed up a little bit. Man went ahead and punched him again. And one of the things I like about watching combat sports is you also get to see some of the preparation if they've made one of those mini docs ahead of time and everything. And then sometimes, depending on what promotion you're watching, they'll even give you some audio during the fight of the corner. What they're yelling at their fighter, whether it's instructions, whether it's encouragement, things that they shouldn't be doing. You know, you hear all of it. And I wonder if it could talk, I wonder what the toupee would have been saying. Because you know that toupee trying to coach. It was trying to, hey, move. You need to cover up. He hitting us. Because that second punch landed. And you saw him once again. He didn't seem too hurt. He was over here, ooh, right? But his hair. And once again, he sort of absorbed it. I don't know how hurt he really was. It felt like you could see the toupee going, oh no! You see it go higher. It went further back. This toupee must have snapped its spine because he got hit again and you saw the toupee like, pow! You gotta think about this thing from the other fighter's perspective for a second. Imagine you over here, you're a prize fighter, fighting another prize fighter, and y'all going at it. And then you punch him. And his hair comes off. I think if that happened to me, I would be like, I didn't know. They're already fighting. They're already trying to do each other bodily harm anyway. But that is such a weird thing to have happen. It's not even part of a threat. You see people out, like you might see people out in the streets, out in a bar, getting ready to fight, and you've seen it, especially when dudes about to fight. They're yelling all sorts of threats at each other. You know, I'm gonna bust you up, I'm gonna bust your head open, I'm gonna kill you, and all this. Never ever heard two men ready to fight, mad enough to beat each other down. Never have I heard anybody go, I'm gonna knock your hair clean off. Believe that. Doesn't happen. Yeah, his hair got knocked off and it landed outside the ring. And somebody picked it up and put it in an empty seat. When you're fighting, you obviously, in any fight you engage in, you're trying to win, and if you are losing a fight, it can be devastating for you. It can be embarrassing, especially depending on who it's in front of. Is it in front of your friends? Is it in front of someone that you like, you know? Especially, I can't imagine fighting in front of a crowd and maybe not having the tools that you thought you had, maybe underestimating your opponent, and then they take advantage of a moment and maybe you get knocked out, whatever. I can't imagine the pressure of having people watch you fight. Or even if you're just out in the world and you're fighting in front of people that you might be trying to defend or you care about and you're losing. But it's even harder to imagine what it's like to have your toupee sitting ringside. I think about it from his perspective, you know? He's over here fighting his best, trying his best, going at it. And then he gets hit. And maybe it was a hit that he didn't see coming. I wonder, did he think to himself when he got hit, whew, the room just got a little colder. Yeah, turn the air on in here. This is crazy. No. I think the only thing worse than getting your toupee knocked off during a televised fight is getting knocked off by a bald man. Like the dude that... Once again, you never see two dudes out ready to fight, mad enough to beat each other down. You never see those two dudes going at it, and then before they fight, one says to the other, when I get done with you, you're gonna look like me. Oh. But you can't avoid the news forever. You can't, you know. This Epstein thing. 3.5 million more documents dropped. And that's basically like a total of like 6 million, because you gotta remember the millions that they kept finding after they said that there wasn't anything. Never. Even the history of the lottery, no one's ever been like, no, there's nothing here. Actually, there's millions, my bad. Remember, there was nothing for like a while, and then they were like, oh, we found a couple million, oh, we found 2 million. All right, look, this is embarrassing to admit. We did find 3.5 more million. I know, it's hard to tell if we're incompetent or we're lying. I know. This is very difficult. And it's insane to see what they talk like when they think that no one is listening. Because this is actually a whole... It is like a whole conspiracy. This is the thing that gets to me about what's happening right now. All right? Is that based on... I'm not acting like I read 3.5 million documents. Just based on what I've read so far, I actually owe a lot of the conspiracy theorists I know an apology. GIB, it's very hard for me when it comes to the everything's connected people, you know? Because not everything feels connected. You know, you'll have people who are like, it's all connected. It's all connected, all right? All of it. Jean Benet, 9/11, and the tiger that went missing at the zoo. It's all connected. That's the other thing about my friends who say it's all connected. They stare, and it's like, if you would blink, I might be on board quicker. But the way that you can't just tell somebody, so even if it's a fact, even if you're telling somebody the truth, you could be telling somebody the full truth. If you stare, it does take them out of what the truth is. You gotta stop. You might tell someone a fact, a thing that they know to be true, but if you stare afterwards, you kill your own momentum. You could be looking at your friend. It's Tuesday. Do you see how I don't care what day it is for a second? No, usually it's all connected people lose steam. Because even if they've got something going on with, okay, this is the other thing. I'm trying to help. This is me trying to help, all right? Even if things are all connected, okay? y'all gotta get the yarn more organized. If you bring me into a room and there's pictures everywhere, but the yarn doing this, see how it's hard to follow? Because admittedly, the same thing that you're doing is what like the CIA, the FBI, like any investigative body does, except they just put the thing in the middle. And then they have all the other yarn pointing from that thing. So then you're like, huh, looks like that's the guy. You know, like you saw some of this broken down in timelines on the news, and they did that. They had Epstein in the middle, and then they had lines connecting to other people, and it was simple. You see Epstein in the middle, you see all the lines from them to Epstein, and maybe you could make some distinctions. Like, oh, from him to him to him, okay. It wasn't over here, then over here, then over here, then over here, then over here. It's too hard to follow. And so I took my pride and I tried to swallow it, and I knew that, I have to apologize to some people who have been saying so many things, were connected for a very long time. And I was like, all right, time to do it. I'm gonna see him. I know he's gonna be like, well, you know. And one of the most frustrating things about what is happening in this moment right now in front of us is that the same people, not all, but a lot of the same people who have always said it's all connected and look at this and blah, 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 like all that stuff, the people who, like, when you look at everything, do seem to have been right, you go to apologize to them and then they're like, oh no, not this. No, not the guy I like. No, there's no way. No, that's no. This was literally your whole thing. This was your whole thing for like a decade, and now, because it's the guy you like, all right, whatever. That would be like if someone came to you and said, I have proof that there are aliens in the universe, in another galaxy. They live like sentient beings. They're just like us, but in their own alien way. And I'm telling you, they're out there, right? I know that they're out there. And maybe you made fun of this person, maybe you ignored this person. And then finally one day, the sky opens up. A ship comes down low into the atmosphere. And then from that ship, little pods come out of that ship and they land here on Earth. When the pods open, these creatures step out. Huh? Aliens. And just when you go to apologize to your friend who's been saying for like a decade or more that there were aliens, right as you're about to fix your lips to say, I'm so sorry that I didn't believe you, he goes, oh no, the ones I was talking about were green. These don't even look like aliens to me. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think that's, no, they faking it. That's a dude in a costume, I think. That's not a spaceship, that's a drone. You never seen a drone before? No, because when you look at these files, and you look at the correspondence between Epstein and these other people, another thing that is very important to remember for all of us, because for so long, as Americans, we've sort of equated money and any form of success with intelligence. We have sort of built up a meritocracy that doesn't exist. And so we see someone, if they have $1 billion, we're like, oh, they must deserve $1 billion. If they have more money than we could ever imagine, they must have like earned it somehow. They must be so smart that they just put it together. And maybe I'll be just like them one day and I'll be able to put it together. And maybe I can work my way up to get to their level. And one of the things about reading these emails that should be apparently, it should be so clear to you when you read some of the correspondence between these people is that these billionaires, these tech bros, these elite cannot spell. They cannot spell. They cannot spell. They probably cannot spell. They cannot spell. It is crazy. It's hard to read. It almost gives them some plausible deniability. If they were brought into court and told to read what they wrote, they might be like, I don't know what this is, to be honest with you. I don't know. They cannot. Predators that cannot read. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I was reading some of the emails. I was like, y'all not embarrassed? It's not even in code. It's literally them being like, oh, would be great to C. Just the letter C. Oh, it's insane. We over here. We're over here trying to make sure we don't misspell anything. We even using AI sometimes in our emails to proofread before we send it. We always want to seem professional. We always want to have our stuff checked so that we can look like we know what we're talking about when we talk about things. Meanwhile, some of the richest people in the world over here misspelling vacation. Never think they're better than you. Never, never, never. You read some of these emails, especially, like when you really focus on the emails, because they have released, in some instances unredacted, they've released emails that were just drafts that Jeffrey Epstein saved, right? So you get to see some of the things that he wrote out that he maybe never even sent, but you see some of his like attempts at blackmail and some of his plans for people, you know. You also see emails, a lot of emails from Elon. Elon, but okay. Remember when Elon got into it with Trump, and then he was like, time to drop the big bomb that Trump is in the Epstein files. That's why I haven't come out yet. And, he tried to do that mic drop, and then, how stupid do you have to be? You didn't just throw stones while you lived in a glass house. You seem to have thrown the stone through your glass floor. This dude emailed Jeffrey Epstein and was over here. Hey, I'm looking to spend some time, have a vacation. It'd be great to hang out at the island with you. Like, you want to hang out at the island? I'd love to come to the island with you. And the girls, there'll be girls there. So let's go I want to hang out at your island with you. And we'll do whatever stuff. I mean, I want to go crazy too. So whatever stuff you do, that's what I want to do. I want to do all the stuff that you do with the girls at your island. I want to be with you at your island doing stuff and whatever stuff you have in mind, like crazy stuff. Let's lose our minds. Let's go crazy together at your island. I'm surprised that Jeffrey Epstein did not think Elon Musk was the police. The way that this man was emailing so thirsty. This is the most narc email I've ever seen in my life. This man, no, with you and the girls, because there'll be girls there, right? It's like, I've never seen somebody send an email like they were wearing a wire. Absolutely insane. And Epstein was one of those dudes, sure, he couldn't spell. But he knew he was the devil. And he also knew, okay, I shouldn't email plainly with everybody. And so he sends an email back to Elon that this is not the exact email, but it's like the gist of it is, oh yeah, it'd be great to hang out and do some math together. Just throw something out there. Wink, wink. And it's hard to do a wink wink with a man who doesn't blink. Because then Elon's like, why would I want to do math when I could be hanging out with the girls and you at the island? I don't want to do math. I want to be with the girls at the island with you. No, it'd be so fun. Look, we'll come over to the island where the girls are. You got girls, right? Yeah. This happened a couple times between Elon and Epstein. And Epstein would try to throw in like, you know, some sort of like red herring or something, and Elon wouldn't catch on, and then finally he got to be like, do you think I'm stupid? No, I don't want to do math. I'm clearly like into doing the thing that you said, but just stop emailing like that. There was one time he was over here, man, I would love to come to the island with the girls and you. Be fun, be together, yeah, like bros with the girls at the island. We'll do whatever bad stuff you want to do, whatever you normally do. I'm here to have fun, so whatever you do, you know, I just want to hang out at your house with you and do whatever it is that you do. Her great stories. And Epstein emailed back, and he was like, actually, I'm gonna be out of town. I can't. Look, I personally think that Elon is like one of the biggest criminals in human history because he's got so much power and he has so much money that even on a whim, even something as simple as a mistake that he could make could affect so many lives. He affects millions of people, and he does it, and he doesn't really care about the people that he affects. And so all of these bad things that happen, you can lay them at his feet. They are his fault, you know? The things that Doge has cut, the things that we're gonna see as a result of those cuts, that is him. That's fully him. And so the only thing to me that is worse than being like a predator criminal is being a predator criminal that other predator criminals don't want to hang out with. Like that's wild. This man was thirsty, and they were like, ugh. Like you, we're talking about Epstein. We're talking about that you have to take one of the deepest looks in human history at yourself. If actual pedophiles are like, ugh, it's just the worst. Do you realize how insane that is? An actual secret cabal, like a secret cabal of trafficking predators have a group chat without you in it. That is insane. And then Elon over here, once the files drop, because he's been big on anybody else who was in the files. I'm big on anybody else who might even have that suspicion of being in the files. He loved to throw as many people as he could under the bus or use it as his own weapon to attack people's reputation. And I'm not defending anybody. If they're in the files and he was going after them, then let them go after each other. I don't care. I'm just saying that like that's a wild thing to do when you know you're in the files. In the files a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like for his part, Trump has at least been acting like somebody who's in the files and doesn't want the files to come out. Like that's a wild thing for Elon to be like, he in there and he in there too. Because then Elon comes out spinning out when this DOJ drop happens. And he's like, if I wanted to hang out with young girls, I didn't need a creep like Epstein's help. How are you not in jail? How are you not in jail? How are you this bad? That's insane. That would be like you're sitting on the stand. And the prosecutor's coming after you, and he's like, these are your co-conspirators, right? You know? He's the mastermind right there. You've already said to the police, you've already given your testimony that this man was the ringleader. And then you go, I didn't need him to do it. I could do it all by myself. No. Look, okay. Listen to me. I'm gonna tell you a story. We're gonna get through it together. I have some family down south, and my family down south, one of them moved into this nice suburban neighborhood, and it was picturesque. It was one of those things that are like real slice of America type place, something out of like a sitcom or a CBS drama. And it was one of those neighborhoods where, there'd be like nice little neighborhood cookout once a month. People come over, cook their specialties. People mostly hang out with each other, do little potlucks and everything. And he had a neighbor, maybe 2-3 doors down. And this neighbor was married, but he was also having an affair. Yeah. And one weekend, when his wife was out of town, his mistress came over. Mistress comes over, and they spend a little time together. And apparently what happened was the mistress said, I think it's time for you to leave your wife and be with me. And he said, oh, funny that you say that, because the reason that I called you here is I think it's time for us to break up. And his mistress killed him, all right? I know this is a very scary story. I'm in Atlantic City. Some of you are here with your mistresses right now. But anyway. So the mistress took him out, right? And then she went outside and smoked a cigarette. This is actually what got her caught, because there was, people passing by in the neighborhood, and they were like, why is this woman in lingerie smoking a cigarette outside of Larry's house? And she even finished the cigarette. She came outside, maybe calm her nerves, smoked a little bit, put it out, and went back upstairs, and I'm not totally sure how she did it, but apparently she revived him. She resuscitated him. Yeah, gave him CPR. Woke back up, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if you kill somebody but you also revive them, that should break you even. That does seem, it's already so unlikely. Why fill out the paperwork? You did it, but you brought them back. Imagine that. Imagine if somebody kill you and then bring you back, and then you just pick up the argument where you left off. They over here. And you're like, and another thing. That's wild. Yeah, and then she brought him back.
How'd she kill him?
And then she did kill him again. And that feels excessive. Mad. Imagine being that mad. You already got him. Bring him back. Then, I don't know, maybe I'll argue some more. Maybe you're like, no, I was right. The whole reason I tell you that story is that when I first heard it, I couldn't believe that somebody would ever be that mad. You got him. They brought him back. I think you could probably call it good. I had never understood it. When I first heard that story, I was like, that seems so insane. There's so much anger to do that. Most people can't muster up to do it once. And you did it twice in the same 10 minutes. Truly, I never really understood what would make somebody do that. Until I was reading in the Epstein files, how did Melinda Gates not kill Bill twice? Man, okay, I don't know if you've read the part, but look, Bill Gates was cheating on Melinda Gates, apparently cheating on her a decent amount, and it's one thing. Look, cheating is already very bad. Cheating is already wrong, and it breaks up lives and it breaks people's hearts and stuff. But getting cheated on by Bill Gates feels extra. You know what I mean? Okay, let's say I happen to be with Dua Lipa and she cheat on me, right? I'd have to take that one on the chin. I'd be like, all right, but you Dua Lipa. I'm surprised you're not, I'm just happy for the time we spend together, Dua Lipa. You know what I mean? You know, like, cause even if she was like, hey, I did this thing, I feel really bad, and I'm be like, oh, with who? And she's like, I don't know, list another like A-list celebrity. I'd be like, you know him? You know what I mean? Like, but getting cheated on by Bill Gates, I'd be so mad. I'd be like, you already Bill Gates. You lucky I'm here. No, I'm cheated on by Bill Gates. Ugh. And so apparently this is like the timeline that's been strung together. Bill Gates denies all this stuff, just so you know, right? But basically, the timeline that seems to have been established is that Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates were hanging out, and Epstein got women and or girls for Bill Gates, and at one point, Bill Gates contracted an STI. And he didn't want Melinda Gates to find out. And so there's literally them going back and forth, Epstein and Bill Gates, about ways that Bill Gates can try to get antibiotics into Melinda Gates' food so she won't get it. I'm not a doctor. But if you trying to spike somebody's food with antibiotics, they gotta have pretty much the same meal for a while, right? Like that. Yeah, this dude was out here. He was a fiend. He was over here hanging with Epstein. Epstein was helping him do all this stuff. Epstein, I don't know if he fully introduced him to one of the mistresses, but at one point, Bill Gates was sleeping with his bridge coach. You know, bridge. In fact, if I read this right, Epstein got Bill Gates Adderall so he could play bridge better. This is why nobody should have $1 billion. You got all this money and you taking Adderall to play bridge better. You wasting it. You wasted, I can tell you wasting billions of dollars right now out here buying all the farmland and then paying for Adderall so you can play better at bridge. What a loser. You realize you out here taking performance enhancing drugs for bridge. You know bridge, the #1 pastime of nursing homes everywhere. How does that even help you? People sitting there, wow, he puts the cars down so fast. Ugh. Operation Bill Gates Bridge. And that's when he makes his move on you. Yeah, because you know how romantic bridge is. You know, sometimes you got the cards in your hands, you can barely contain yourself. That's wild. And then Epstein was over here talking about how that relationship fizzled out. He said that Bill Gates left her penniless on her friend's couch. Said that the richest man in the world was a total cheapskate. And said that, you know, she needed money and Epstein gave her some. Do you know what that says about you? That you out here not only cheating on your wife, but leaving your mistress penniless, and Epstein helps her out. The whole thing is so insane, you know? Because I don't know what any of it will amount to or will mean. In other countries, there seem to be some real consequences starting. There's like real investigations starting, and then people are like stepping down or losing jobs and everything. And here, we're acting like we don't know what to do. That's insane. That doesn't make any sense. Just do whatever any of the countries does that does something about this. What should we do? I don't know. I mean, yeah, Congress needs to do their job, but I just don't think that's enough. I feel like if you are in the Epstein files, you know, some of these people aren't politicians. Some of these people aren't, you know, holding a public office that can be held to account like that, you know? No, I'm with you. I'm saying that if you see somebody, John Cena? I feel like, guys, I got this. Now we're just getting confused. Like, none of this is part of it. I was trying to lead to something, but yeah. Whoever, and yeah. No, it would be, as long as John Cena's not in the files, it would be great if people in the files just were walking around and living their lives thinking that they got away with this thing, and just when they think they're in the clear, somebody in the Epstein files, you know, and all thousands of them, you know, walking around, and maybe John Cena rolls up behind them and knocks their hair clean off.
You've seen him all over the Daily Show. You've seen him on YouTube. I want y'all to put your hands together, put your hands together, put your hands together. Give it up for Josh Johnson.
My most recent obsession is this court case, this lawsuit against Cardi B. All right. If you're not familiar with Cardi B is a rapper, and she is also a national treasure. Cardi B is incredible, and this case is pretty wild. Basically, what is being alleged in this case is that Cardi B assaulted a security guard. It's alleged that Cardi B assaulted the security guard, and you hear both stories throughout the case. The security guard's story is that she was at work, you know, securing the building. And then Cardi B walks in, and then she's like, "Oh, Cardi B." And Cardi B didn't seem to like that she was approached, that Cardi B was like, what are you doing right now? Why are you in my face? And that Cardi B got nasty with her very quickly. And so they were in the elevator together, and she said that she followed Cardi B out of the elevator to clear up any confusion. I don't know if it was to apologize or anything, but she admits that she did follow Cardi B into the elevator and out of the elevator. And then she said Cardi B really lost it and started cursing at her and everything, and then started swinging on her and stuff, and that she got a little nick on her cheek from Cardi B scratching her face, right? And then the receptionist and the doctor that Cardi B was there to see, because Cardi B was in the building for a doctor's appointment, that they broke up the fight, and then everybody went about their way. But because of this assault, because of this nick on her face, she is suing Cardi B for about $24 million. I'll tell you right now, for $24 million, Cardi B could cut up my whole leg, okay? If Cardi B chopped up my leg and gave it back to me in a bucket, I would be like, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. $24 million. That's crazy. So then, Cardi B's account of things is that she was going to the doctor. At the time, she was pregnant. She didn't want anybody to know she was pregnant. She didn't tell anybody, and she didn't even tell her security guard where she was going that day, her personal security, because she was just trying to keep this whole thing private, right? And even the doctor's office had blocked out time just to make sure they didn't have other clients coming in back and forth, and Cardi B was gonna be the last appointment of the day, right? So Cardi B shows up to the building, and then immediately she hears Cardi B, and so already that's not ideal, right? Like that could happen at any time. Cardi B is very famous, but then she is getting in the elevator, and then she notices the person who screamed Cardi B got in the elevator with her and has a phone in her face, and so she goes, "What are you doing? Aren't you security?" Because she had security on her. And then she's talking to her while she's in the elevator, and then she exits the elevator, and she said she can still feel this person behind her. So then she turns around, she's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you recording me? You gotta get out of my face. I'm trying to go to the doctor." And then that's when the person who was recording her, the security guard, got real angry and was like, "I could do what I want. It's my phone. This is my building," which is a misunderstanding of what security is. If that really was said, oof. I've never met a security guard who thought they were clocking in to own the building for a little while. But then they got into what Cardi B says was only a verbal altercation. There was the receptionist and the doctor that came into, I guess, the hallway to break things up. But she said, "I didn't touch her, she didn't touch me," so I didn't really think of it again, because if you don't know Cardi B, you should at least know that she's used to verbal altercations. I'm sure they don't stick with her. She was on Love and Hip Hop. And so then she just sort of goes about her life, and then she gets hit with this $24 million lawsuit. This whole thing, to me, just my opinion, but this whole thing feels like when that dude tried to sue Gwyneth Paltrow for millions. Remember that dude, Gwyneth Paltrow, if you aren't familiar with this, basically Gwyneth Paltrow went skiing one time, and then this other dude went skiing, and I don't know exactly how it went down, but I guess they bumped into each other at some point, and then the guy got up and he was like, "Wow, you're Gwyneth Paltrow." Oh, I'm ruined. No, because this is the thing. Coming after Cardi B seems like kind of easy in a lawsuit like this, just because she was on shows like Love and Hip Hop. And in Love and Hip Hop, there's a lot of this. In Love and Hip Hop, whether you're watching Atlanta, Hollywood, New York, there's a lot of almost fights. You know what I mean? Usually it is stirred up by the producers. They get everybody nice and drunk, and then they're like, hey, you won't believe what she said. And then they always believe what she said. And so, you know, Cardi B's been known to pretty much never back down. In fact, there was this old case. I don't think anything ever came to it in like a court sense, but Cardi B was doing I think it was a festival, could have been a concert, and somebody threw something on stage. You know, somebody threw like a water bottle. And this has happened a lot in like the past. I don't know, people lost their minds through COVID and everything, and now people sometimes even film themselves throwing something on stage. I don't know if it's like to get a reaction out of the performer, and every performer has a different reaction to it. There are some people who, as soon as something gets thrown, they walk off stage, show's over, and they don't even try to continue. There are some people that try to dodge it, act like it didn't happen. There are some people that try to dodge it and then try to find the person who did it and get security to kick them out and everything. Well, basically, there was a time where someone threw a water bottle at Cardi B, and I believe she dodged it, but she must have seen who did it, because she immediately threw the microphone at them. They probably thought Cardi B was gonna be some easy pickings. They were like, I'll throw my water bottle now. She's clearly unarmed. And can I just say, throwing a microphone at somebody is one of the funniest projectiles to throw. Because it's the only one where you get to hear their reaction to something being thrown at them in real time. Imagine Cardi B throw a microphone right back at them, and they're like, oh, is that a... Last thing the crowd hears before the show ends is, whoa, watch out! Even better if they turned around, they threw the water bottle, they're like, I think I got it! And so, well, they had this court case, and I don't know. Cardi B better than me. If I were me, I'd be losing my mind right now. $24 million for. That's what she's alleging. Like, the security guard is alleging $24 million. I don't even think I got $24 million worth of head. I think even if I was in a horrific accident, I'd probably only get like 10, maybe. And that's with half the head missing. $24 million just feels insane. And so, you know, they go to court, and Cardi B's got a lawyer, security guard's got a lawyer, and security guard's lawyer does seem bad at this. I don't know the law. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even know some of the stuff they're saying. When they get into like the real nitty gritty, like the weedsiness of the law, I don't know what's happening, right? All I know from all my hours of watching Law and Order is that if you're a lawyer and you're talking in court, you're talking, right? And then the other side keeps saying objection, and then the judge keeps saying sustain, you're not exactly doing well. And that's what's been happening this entire trial. The judge basically sustaining the whole thing. Like, this lawyer for the security guard keep withdrawing his own questions mid-question because he can feel a sustain coming. And like, some of the questions don't have anything to do with anything. It's one thing if you're badgering the witness, or you're really trying to like rile them up and get them to admit something, you try and catch them in a lie or something like that. It doesn't even feel like that's what's happening. This dude will just be asking questions that have nothing to do with anything or the case. It feels like he's just a Cardi B fan. The amount of times that Cardi B's lawyers have had to say objection, relevance, is astounding. He's asked her all sorts of questions. At one point, though, he gets back on track and he asks Cardi B, you're saying that you felt threatened by my client. The security guard says, client, you saying you feel threatened by my client. I'm wondering why you feel so threatened. What was the issue? What was the issue? And then Cardi B says, I was pregnant and she's coming at me. I think she wants to beat me up and I'm pregnant. Hello? Hello? And then he goes, hello, hello. Hello, I'm here. And that's when it occurred to me that maybe what's happening is that this security guard's lawyer, maybe, just throwing it out there, potentially has never met a black person. I think if you've never met a black person in your life, and your first black person is Cardi B, that's a bit of a crash course. That would be like if I never met a white person in my life. Never met a white person, never talked to a white person, didn't even see one in a movie. Never met a white person. Then my first white person ever was Bill Nye the Science Guy. I think I might be walking away with some incorrect assumptions about white people. I think I go back home and tell all my friends and family, oh yeah, white people, they love space. No, they got a bunch of facts about turtles ready at the hip. Oh, and they love bow ties. Can't stop them from wearing a bow tie. The only time I've seen something like this exact moment, this type of thing, this like misunderstanding in that way, was on a TV show called To Catch a Predator. Okay, I don't know if you remember To Catch a Predator, but in case you never watched it, this was some insane reality TV. Basically, To Catch a Predator, they did just that. They would lure and then trap predators online who thought they were talking to underage kids, right? And they would have all these long conversations with them, and then they try to meet up with them. But when they tried to meet up with them, they would go to like the Sting house, right? And at this house, they would show up thinking they're meeting this underage person. Turns out they're meeting Chris Hansen. If you don't know Chris Hansen, you don't know Dateline. All you need to know about Chris Hansen was he was the To Catch a Predator. Oh, you would hate to see Chris Hansen coming if you were a predator. And so they would lure these predators to this house, and then especially season 1 was like no other thing. Season 1, when people didn't know what was happening, that was some of the wildest television I've ever seen. Because they didn't know who Chris Hansen was, all of them. Some of them did, right? But most of them did not. And so they'd show up to this house thinking that they're going to meet this underage kid. And they might even call out a name or something. Then Chris Hansen would walk in. Chris Hansen walk in holding some papers and everything. Now, because they don't know who Chris Hansen is, they think maybe this is the person's dad or something. So they immediately feel caught. But they don't know how caught they are, right? So then Chris Hansen would walk in and be like, hi, how's it going? And then he'd tell them to sit down, and they always sat down. Chris Hansen would sit them down, and then he'd ask them what they were doing here. And they'd try to come up with some sort of lie on the fly or something. And then he would ask them how they know this underage kid. And they'd try to come up with some lie on the fly, something like that. And then Chris Hansen would be like, oh, that's interesting because I have the transcripts of your conversation. And no matter what color they were, you watched the color leave their face. And then Chris Hansen would ask them what they meant by certain things in the transcript of the messages and stuff, and these people would just sink. They was terrified, devastated, right? And then Chris Hansen would be like, okay, all right, you've answered all my questions. You can go. And even the predator would be like, what? Really? Like, yeah, you can go. You can go. And they'd be like, oh, okay. I mean, I thought my life was ruined or something. All right. And then they would get ready to walk out. And when they walked out, they were immediately tackled by the local police department.
And not just tackled, like properly football tackled. This would have been unnecessary roughness in the NFL. This is the only time nobody's gonna take you to task over police brutality. You know what I mean? Because the police, to their credit, they would announce themselves and say, get on the ground. They were just saying, get on the ground when they were already airborne. Like, police would be in the air, legs up, get on the ground. It's like, you know your shoulder about to be in his neck.
They would tackle him and they cuff him up and then they throw him in the car and they take him to jail. And then in jail, they would go to the interrogation room and they'd have to answer all of Chris Hansen's questions all over again. I guess him asking was just practice. You know, and there was this one time where this guy comes in, and I don't remember what season it was, but this guy had a very interesting aesthetic. Like he was white, but he had a very like Vanilla Ice vibe to him. You know what I mean? And so he walked in, but when he walked in, he was like. Chris Hansen walked in, and then when Chris Hansen walked in and told him to sit down, he was like, I. And then Chris Hansen does the thing that he does, asks him why he's there, asks him why he's been talking to this underage kid and everything. And then a thing I forgot to mention before that also happened in all the episodes was when Chris Hansen finally announced himself, where he was like, I'm Chris Hansen with NBC's To Catch a Predator. Cameras would come out from all these different rooms, right? And it was always, without fail, too many cameras. It was always a number of cameras where I'm like, there's no way all those cameras on. There would be people with cameras in the hallway because they couldn't get in the kitchen, just lifting the camera up. Be way too many cameras. And so then the cameras roll in once Chris Hansen announces himself, and then this guy sitting there pulls down his cap a little bit and says to Chris Hansen and all of the cameramen, I'm not really trying to be on TV, you feel me? Repeats it. I'm not really trying to be on TV, you feel me? You feel me? You feel me? And Chris Hansen, without missing a beat, this man says, I'm not really trying to be on TV, you feel me? And Chris Hansen says, yes, we are filming. And I haven't seen such a misunderstanding until the security guard's lawyer says to Cardi B, hello? Yeah, I'm here. That man lucky. That man lucky Cardi B at no point in her testimony hit him with a like that. That would have broken his brain. That would have ruined his life. He would have bent his knees. Oh! Everybody get out! What's happening? No. Because once again, this dude is wild. This dude is asking her questions about things that have nothing to do with anything. At one point, I think he's really, in his head, he's having his like Perry Mason runaway jury moment. Like he's doing he's doing something right out of Law and Order in his head, because he gets his planted stance. He starts going in on Cardi B, and he says, today versus yesterday, all right? Yesterday, you had short black hair. Today, it's long blonde hair. 2 days ago, it was long black hair. Which is it? I don't know why he thought he had her. That was incredible. I don't know what I think he expected Cardi B to be like, I don't know. Oh no. What's happening? I thought he probably had some follow-up questions ready. He's like, if you're changing your hair, how do we know you're not changing your story? All right? Miss Cardamom Basil. If that is your real name. And Cardi B just laughed it off. She was like, they're wigs. Like, what do you want me to do? And then, he gets into the stuff that's more relevant to the case, and he's trying to grill her back and forth with question after question after question. And he finally gets to this point where he's like, why did you feel threatened? She says the pregnancy thing and everything. But he's like, you said yourself that my client is about your height. Why would you be intimidated by her? And then Cardi B goes, yeah, I mean, she's a little bit taller than me, but she's bigger than me and everything. And I don't know what she wants to do. Now it seems like this person wants to beat me up. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they went from wanting a picture to beat me up or just wanted to beat me up and record. I don't know what's happening, right? And so then this guy goes, why are you so intimidated by it? You're saying that she's bigger than you. What makes you say that? And then Cardi B goes, like, do I have to say it? No. And then he's like, are you calling my client fat? Are you calling my client fat? All right? Did you call her fat that day? In fact, you called her fat that day, didn't you? And then Cardi B is like, no, I was only calling her the B word. Like, it was really just that. I didn't really have time for anything else, Sort of said that over and over again. Didn't really get to work in any other details. And this lawyer, I don't know, like, it's like now what we're getting into is stuff that I guess isn't nice, but I don't know how it helps his case, because then he just keeps egging it on. He's like, but you said that, and you said other things, didn't you? You said other things. And then Cardi B, to her credit, it starts admitting everything that she said, right? She starts just repeating verbatim in court. She just cursing in court openly, just non-stop cursing in court, right? And he's like, is that what you said? Say exactly what you said. I mean, she's right here, right now. Say it again. Say it to her face. Say it again. And then even Cardi B is like, what is happening? Like, you want me to curse her out again? Like, is this one like a freebie or something? Like, I can't tell what's happening. It's like, no, you were so threatened. You were so completely threatened by my client. What makes you so threatened? And then she's like, well, at the time I was pregnant and I was 130 pounds. All right. And then she was like twice my size. You know what I mean? And then once again, he gets on the same thing. He's like, are you calling my client fat? And she's like, no, I'm not saying. She just, No, what? I don't know. What are you trying to say? Say it. Say what you want to say. There's no harm here. Say it.
She's security heavy. That's so much worse. And this man keeps going. He's like, what do you mean security heavy? What are you trying to say? She's security heavy. What does that even mean? And Cardi B is like, you know, she built like she protect buildings. If it were me and I was Cardi B, I'd probably be sitting there furious. Cardi B better than me, you know? I'd probably be sitting there so angry. I'm just trying to live my life. I was trying to go to the doctor privately. My business is always out there. People get paid to get up in my business and everything. And I'm just trying to have a quiet moment. I'm not feeling well. I believe was her first child and everything. No one knows that she's pregnant. And then this whole thing blows up and then she gets sued for $24 million. And, you know, she's better than me. I'd be sitting there furious at that lawyer. You know? And if I was a security guard sitting there watching this happen, I'd be furious at that lawyer. What are you doing? You just getting me roasted in open court. This doesn't feel like it's getting me any closer to $24 million. Oh. Because I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm better than anybody, okay? If times get tough, if things get rough for me, I run into George Clooney. It's just me and George Clooney in the hallway. I know I haven't been able to pay my rent or anything. Is his word against mine? I'm gonna see George Clooney. I'm gonna put my hand on the ground. I'm just gonna. Look at what George Clooney did to me. Why would Ocean's 11's George Clooney do this? I thought he was a good man. I can't believe that Ocean 12's own George Clooney would step on my hand like this. What's that you say? He still owns the Tequila company? Oh no. Who would have thought Ocean's 13 George Clooney would be capable of something like this? I thought he'd be president one day. Nah, easily. It doesn't have to be George Clooney. I don't even need like A-list. I really don't. If I see Neil deGrasse Tyson, times are tough, I run into Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm throwing a bowling ball straight up in the air and catching it with my head. I was like, oh no! I can't believe Neil deGrasse Tyson did one of Newton's laws of motion to me. I think it was the first one. Oh. Doesn't have any popular person will do, you know? If I see William H. Macy, I'm gonna run into a wall like that dude from the show Fargo. I'm gonna run right into. If I ever meet William H. Macy, he better pray we outside. Because if she's trying to get money out of Cardi B, you know, this is not the way. She over here admitting that she only got nicked. Just a little. That quick. That. And she said that she had to have 2 plastic surgeries. Even brought the plastic surgeon to court, and the plastic surgeon
came into court with a picture, right? Now, the plastic surgeon, this is also why I feel like this case is bogus, because she doesn't have a picture of the scratch from the day that it happened. Her plastic surgeon had to come in and do a before and after picture. And honestly, I don't know if that dude, the plastic surgeon, I don't see what he did. Like, it's... Even when they tried to show the cut, like the little scar that Cardi B supposedly gave her, maybe they didn't zoom in enough. Like, I don't know but they had the little line pointing straight to it, and I'm squinting. It doesn't even look like Cardi B did $24 of damage. Oh, you try and get money out of Cardi B, this is not the way to do it. All you gotta do is make sure y'all are still alone. The other problem, and the reason this whole case feels fishy, is because her lawyers, and I suppose even her, didn't want the receptionist or the doctor that broke them up testifying. That seems suspicious. If I got $24 billion worth of damage done to me, I'd call everybody who was within earshot. You know what I mean? Oh, you heard me. You remember? I was like, oh no, $24 million just fell out of my face, right? So the fact that her lawyers didn't want those people testifying seems fishy. And then you kind of understand why. I don't know if she was a fully surprise witness or anything, but I know they were trying to block it for a long time. And so the receptionist finally sits down on the stand and testifies, right? And the security guard's lawyer is over here asking just all the relevant questions, right? And some of the questions are getting objected to and then sustained because they're a little leading. You know what I mean? Like he asked a question about how wasn't it my client's job to see fit who should and should not be in the building? And then obviously Cardi B's lawyers objected, because how is the receptionist for one office building in this entire building supposed to know all the ins and outs of the security guard's job, right? And they get to this moment where the receptionist comes out because she says that she heard a commotion, and she gets out there and Cardi B is up against a wall like this, like back up against the wall, and security guard is yelling in her face, right? And so then she, immediately upset by what she's seeing, gets in between the two of them and is breaking it up and tells the security guard, I don't know what's going on here, but you need to go back to your post. This is very unprofessional, everything. And everybody's screaming just so everybody can be heard, right? And the lawyer gets excited. He's like, and so do you think that this could be the moment that Cardi B scratched my client's face? And then the receptionist goes, actually, I'm really the only one that got hit out of the both of them. Like, I was... You know, you try to be a good Samaritan, but... And not only does she say that she's like the only one that got hit between them, but she got a scratch on her face, a scratch that bled, and a scratch on her face that bled that came from the security guard. You could tell the lawyer's out here panicking. He's... Whoops. Okay. All right. And so then he starts, in my opinion at least, sort of like badgering her a little bit with questions to try to like double back from the fact that now it looks like the only person that may have assaulted someone is his client. And so he then says, he's like, yes, but you also weren't there the entire time, so you didn't witness the entire altercation. Maybe Cardi B spit on my client before you got there. Maybe she scratched her face before you got there, but you got there and you broke it up and you say that you didn't see anything. But maybe something happened before you got there. You don't know. You don't know. And then the receptionist was like, yeah, I guess I didn't know what it was like to be there till I was there. Yes, I suppose. You got me there. Because it's not just the scratch, I should point out. The scratch is the main thing, but the security guard is also, to my knowledge at least, alleging that Cardi B got her fired as well. You know? And then they had the doctor testify. And I won't say that the security guard's lawyers tried to poison the jury, because they were pushing a narrative the entire time. And the narrative was that obviously the receptionist and the doctor would back Cardi B because she was a client of theirs, a patient. So it benefits them to back up her story, right? And they even say as much while the two people are on the stand, you know? But then the receptionist says, no, actually, the security guard hit me up and said we should sue Cardi B. And I was like, nah, because you started it. Which is also not great for a security guard's lawyer. He's over here, okay, well, look, nothing further. And then they had the doctor testify. Now, the doctor was the last to sing, so by the time he comes out, the receptionist is getting in between Cardi B and the security guard. So he said he was also very upset about what was happening, you know, and he was trying to make sure this thing got broken up. Now, the doctor said, look, what I saw wasn't just unprofessional, it was very concerning to me. And I got out there, and the only thing I could think to do was try to match the body language of the security guards. I don't even know what that means, but I imagine it means he ran up out there, he saw three people arguing, and he was like, hey! Cut that out! Because by his own account, it's not like he the one pulling people from people or anything. Receptionist has already broken it up and taken some punishment, and so... And then took Cardi B in, they had their appointment and everything, and then he was so disturbed by what happened and what he saw that he reached out to Superior for the security guard, and, you know, said that soon after that she was taken downstairs during a shift and like let go, right? And that also doesn't look great for her case, because she alleges that Cardi B got her fired, and now this dude in open court was like, no, it was me. It was me. It was me 100%. And I guess I'm just coming from a place of like, if you really wanted to sue Cardi B for $24 million, you don't wait until there's other people involved that are all going to have different accounts of what happened. If you wanted to sue Cardi B for $24 million, you just walk up to Cardi B before she gets in the elevator and say, hey, Cardi B, how you doing? And then throw yourself down some stairs. That's going to be the easiest way to do it, you know? Throw yourself down some stairs, all the while screaming out Cardi B singles for every step that you hit. You finally hit that last step, you're like, oh, why would top charting artist Cardi B do this? Oh, she's really about that life. These are bloody shoes.
Knock it.